What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's everyone doing today? Today we're going to be discussing Hollywood reboots of original movies. And what kind of got me to discussing this is after a success of a particular sequel, Hollywood decides to go ahead and reboot something that's already been done before. But the biggest problem I find with that is that they are tongue-tied again. They are rebooting these films way too soon. For example, I believe I was on Facebook the other day, and then an article came up saying that they are rebooting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again. And that's when I was all thinking, can't Hollywood come up with anything new, anything fresh, anything original these days? Normally, if you're gonna reboot something, at least give it a decade or two, give it 20 or 30 years before rebooting it again. The last TMT came out in 2016. We're already in 2018. I thought we were gonna get a third sequel, but supposedly they are rebooting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again, and I guess it's still going to be under Platinum Dunes, and I think Michael Bay's still involved in the project, but they hired new writers, and supposedly the Turtles are going to look different than they were before. And it's like Hollywood, they can't make up their minds on what they're going to do. Whether a film succeeds or fails, they still choose to go back to rebooting it again. It doesn't make any sense, But they even did the same thing with the G.I. Joe franchise. I believe when The Rock took over the franchise, the movie made a lot of money, and supposedly they had a sequel in the works. Fast forward a couple years later, they say, oh, we're going to reboot G.I. Joe again. So the point I'm trying to make is they are, taking popular franchises and just trying to make the quick cash grab without actually being creative in the process. You need to start from scratch, come up with something new, something fresh, something that hasn't been done before. Because what I've noticed in Hollywood is that we've been seeing a lot of reboots, remakes, and sequels. Basically, they like to milk the franchise until it's no good. Well, kind of like the Fast and Furious franchise, but at least that was, well, it started out about cars, and then eventually it started becoming about, heist type of films. And the cars are just there for title reasons, I suppose. But Vin Diesel wants to make that 10 films. That's another subject for another day, but basically I'm talking about Hollywood wanting to reboot something that's already been rebooted, and they're giving it less than a couple years before they start remaking or rebooting it again after it's already been done before. But no, they should at least give it a decade or two, 20 or 30 years until they decide to revamp it, refresh it, and give it a new entire look. But no, I just find it entirely ridiculous that Hollywood is running low on ideas. They need to hire new writers. I don't think I have any problems with any of the directors at all, but they need to hire new writers so that they come up with fresh new stories, fresh new plot lines, so that way people have something fresh to watch. It's turning people away from watching the same old. I don't even think the audiences would even want to watch another reboot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially since the last one came out in 2016. We're in 2018, they're already making another one. It's just too much, don't you remember the good old days when they actually had fresh, content, fresh new movies to watch with original storylines and original characters? But the writers in Hollywood today, they're so lazy that they choose to basically take someone else's work and just, remake it, reboot it, and just add in a few changes to it. Other than that, it's still the same. But it's just starting to become real tiring and boring, and basically maybe that's why some people don't decide to go to the movies anymore. because Hollywood is taking reboots of original movies, and they just need to get their act together and provide, fresh new entertainment by coming up with actually, original films to watch. Because I don't know how many reboots I've watched over the last couple of years. You had like the Total Recall reboot with Colin Farrell. You had the Fright Night reboot also starring Colin Farrell. And then I mentioned the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the G.I. Joe franchise. So, they act like there's nothing left. When I'm pretty sure there's plenty of good writers out there that probably haven't even got hired yet or haven't been given an opportunity, but I'm pretty sure they could come up with some engaging storylines for new films that haven't been made yet. And I'm not just talking about just action films, but just movies in general. It's just too much of the same old. And, it just, it gets tiring, it gets boring. People get tired of seeing the same old stuff all the time. So it would be nice if they actually put some effort into their writing by actually coming up with something that's new, because I'm pretty sure you're probably thinking the same thing. Why would I be watching this reboot of another movie when I could watch the original? Of course, the excuse is we're doing it to update it for the new generation, but when you guys update it too soon after already rebooting it once and then you're going to reboot it again, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't know what's going on in Hollywood right now. All I can say is that they need to get their act together so that way they could actually come up with fresh new movies for audiences to watch, because it's just getting tiring, it's getting boring, it's getting exhausting, and you just get tired of watching the same old stuff all the time. So that's my thoughts on this whole entire thing. They just need to get their act together, man. If you have any thoughts on Hollywood rebooting reboots of original movies, feel free to comment below and let me know your displeasure of what's going on with Hollywood filmmaking today and what you think they can to fix it. Well, it was nice talking to you guys, and I'll see you around for the next video. Alright, y'all have a great day.